6:07 p.m. and we're here early because we are going to be going into executive session. So is there a motion to retire to executive session of the Town Council in accordance with Rhode Island General Laws 42-46-4 and 42-46-5A5 to discuss possible acquisition of real property?
So made. Second.
And we'll have a roll call vote. Alexander Menzies, aye. James Durkin,
Aye.
Jason Collins,
Aye.
Brian Toriello,
Aye.
Donovan Galley.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0, and we're off to executive session. Thank you. We all got new microphones this evening, so if any of us happen to scream, just put your hand up. We apologize. The town council just got out of an executive session, and by a vote of 5-0, we voted to continue executive session to after the regular meeting is over. And Mr. Craven, am I missing anything else to report out?
No.
All right, thank you. And we just pull up my notes. And now we are here for the regularly scheduled meeting, and the time is now officially 7:06 p.m. The date is November 3rd, 2025. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty, so our first item on the agenda this evening is our town manager's update, so I'll pass the mic off to Jim.
Good evening again, members of the council, folks who are here this evening, and those who are watching from home. A few updates for the week. I've been meeting with Chief Rikas on drafting a new noise ordinance, and we should have that ready with some recommendations to the solicitor and to the town council soon. The chief has been conferring with other PDs regarding the successes of their individual ordinances, and once we have a chance to review them all, we'll be providing some recommendations to the council and after the solicitor reviews. The council has directed an RFQ be issued for real estate services to market the old library for a long-term lease. That should be completed soon after review by key staff and the solicitor. As you know, I shared the draft with all of you last week. Feel free to contact me with any questions. Local 1033 and Council 94, two of the largest unions in the town. I've notified both unions and the town would like to commence negotiations as their agreements expire on June 30th of next year. The Scarborough Wastewater Treatment Facility, the odor has subsided, and the crew continues to seek processing methods that can further improve it going forward. Most of the updates I've provided to you on that. The Boston Neck Road Habitat for Humanity project. I received one update from Colin Penny a while back, which identified that the property was at least 90% wetlands. I asked for a recent update to see if any other decisions have been made, and as soon as I hear back, I will inform the council. The regional wastewater treatment facility located on Westmoreland Street. As some people know, and some folks in town do not know, this facility is operated by the town of South Kingstown, although it's located in the town of Narragansett. The regional plan is owned by URI South Kingstown and Narragansett and operated by the town of South Kingstown under inter-municipal agreement. The town of South Kingstown is entirely responsible for the operation and maintenance of the facility. No town of Narragansett staff work at the regional facility or are responsible for performing any operational or maintenance activities there. We just provide financial support for it. However, our engineering staff and wastewater crew is in contact with them on a regular basis. They continue to share with us the efforts that they are doing to mitigate the issue at that point.
That's about it.
Thank you. Does anyone on the council have any questions or comments? Just thank you for all the added efforts going in to address the odor issue. I know that there's been a lot of residents that talk about the quality of life issue, so I appreciate the updates that you're providing the council as well as the public upon request.
I cannot stress enough how much they're doing to try to solve this problem and come up with a creative solution by testing different processes and continuing to consult with other professionals in the business.
So if I could just make, I attended the staff meeting this past week, and I just want to say that I was just so impressed with the work that is being done by all the department heads and all the staff of the town. And I thanked them then, and I'd like to publicly thank them now for all their hard work. And thank you for all that you do.
Your comments were appreciated then by the staff, and they are again this evening. Thank you.
Hey, Jim, would you be able to touch on the
water ban and the current status of that?
It still remains in effect. We should have an update later this week. We've been dealing with the Veolia on it.
Thought there were some new changes to it with regards to like Monday through Thursday.
Yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the ban is still in place, and yeah, odd even Monday through Thursday.
Okay.
We expect a change very soon.
Okay.
Okay.
Coming out of this, is there anything that can be done moving forward? I mean, obviously, you know, we're at the whims of nature here, but is there anything that we in town can do? Start doing or try and building wells or anything?
Consider when possible. It's probably the best one. And I hate to say this, but in the winter, the more snow we get, the better supply of water we have the next year. Of course, it's more to plow it, but we will have a better water supply the following year if we have heavy snowfall.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, seeing none. Thank you, Jim. Moving on to the open forum public comment portion for this evening. Do we have anyone who signed up?
No one has signed up on the sheet.
Okay, I will look out to the audience. Does anyone wish to speak for public, during open forum? Yes, please come forward. And as a reminder, comments of citizens addressing the council are neither adopted nor endorsed by the body but heard as requested. Public comment will not be taken on matters involving open litigation, and please speak on topics not on the meeting agenda, 3-minute time limit per speaker, and please be orderly and respectful. Good evening.
Good evening. Mark Crook, 161 Boone Street. I'm looking for clarification on the new stipulations on Boone Street Market's liquor license. And I would ask you to answer me after I get done, since I only have 3 minutes. What date does the stipulation start? The south side patio, my understanding, it should be cleared off and there should not be any people there at 11:30, not start clearing it off at 11:30 so that it goes to 12, 12:15 or whatever happens. And then the inside music was said it was too loud and they should turn it down to a reasonable level. And then it seems that it was said that there's no way to control that. It's unclear what it is the stipulation is relative to the music inside. And who determines what reasonable is. So I wanted you all to be aware that 4 days after the hearing, there was 3 arrests and 3 additional warrants issued because of fights at Boone Street Market. I also want to thank Mr. Menzies for his diligence in looking into this situation, to listening to the neighbors and the public, and to coming up with a realistic solution or temporary compromise for this situation. It is disappointing that the rest of you would not seemingly give Mr. Menzies' solution the consideration that it deserved. It is extremely disappointing that one of you seems to make their decisions on where they can get their late night meal instead of taking the data, the facts given to you by the public, by the police department, to make a decision. The end result is that a Band-Aid was put on a cut that needs stitches. Mr. Craven said that you can readdress this at any time. I urge you to set up a date in May to readdress this. Thank you.
Thank you. What would be the, well, let's continue with open forum first and then we'll answer the questions. Oh.
You want to do it now?
I think it would be more appropriate if we get through the open forum first and then we'll answer the questions. That way we can answer everyone's questions. Does anyone have any other comments for open forum? Okay. So, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the liquor license starts at the start of December, is that correct? These stipulations that were approved, or did they go into effect upon passage?
Whatever the renewal date is. December 2nd? So they would go into effect on December 2nd.
December 2nd, okay. And then it was also,
Just so people understand, the license was renewed with stipulation. Those stipulations attach at the time that the liquor license is renewed.
December 2nd.
Yes.
so another question came up regarding the stipulation about moving, shutting everything down outside at 11:30, with moving the attendance inside. And I think it was a reasonable question, and I don't know if anyone here is ready to answer that question. As to, it is my understanding that everything shuts off at 11:30 p.m. and then everything moves inside, that there shouldn't be any business going on past 11:30 p.m. outside.
That was my understanding of your motion.
Okay. And then lastly, the reasonable level of noise being inside or outside, I think we'll probably be able to better address that in the updated noise ordinance that we provide.
Correct.
But in regards to a reasonable level inside the facility, I'm not sure if that was specified for the liquor license.
I don't recall, is there a more specific version of the motion that, yes, was no specificity?
I do remember the windows that we closed at 11:30.
Yes.
I will mention that although it wasn't part of the vote for the inside music to be at a certain level, it was questioned how you would be able to determine what was an appropriate level at this time. The letter that I did send to the owner with the new restrictions, I did make mention that the council did ask, even though it's not part of the restriction, that the inside levels were turned down. I did make mention of that.
Thank you. And I think what, Councilor Torialde and I were working on the updated noise ordinance along with Jim, the chief, and our town solicitors. We can take that into consideration. We certainly don't want any broad or vague interpretations of what's considered reasonable. I think putting in a measurable amount of sound, what's considered reasonable and not, I think is very important. So, again, the reason why I had my position was I thought it was the easiest to understand and follow through. So, with this language and being able to, follow through this, we want to make sure that it's as enforceable as possible. So, I think more to come in regards to the noise ordinance portion.
Just to give the speaker some assurance, the vagueness of a noise ordinance comes from a lack of specificity. What's loud to me might not be loud to you. So decibels are important to include as the universal measure of how much noise it makes at X number of feet away from the source of the noise. And that's measurable by the police department, which can then measure it and then issue a ticket and or take other additional action. And that's the ordinance that's being prepared, and I would expect that it would be done for consideration by the council by the time this new liquor license was into effect in December, or renewed liquor license was into effect on December 2nd. We'll have a draft form for that.
Yeah, so our goal is next meeting, we will have the first reading. And just so that the public and the council is just understanding a new noise ordinance or revisions to a noise ordinance, would that have to undergo 2 readings, or would that just upon the 2? Okay. So we would have the first reading on November 17th, and then the first meeting in December, right around the time that the new liquor license stipulations would go into effect. So, more to come. Thank you. And then, thank you, Solicitor Graven as well. Next is the consent agenda portion. Is there a motion to approve as presented consent agenda items B1 and B2?
Motion to approve.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Council President, although it sounds very loud in here, I'm just going to ask all, received a few texts and emails about to speak as loud as you possibly can, because the microphone from the iPad is the only thing that picks up it's not a direct feed until they finish the hookup. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. So, apologies if you have to cover your ears. This is for the people watching at home. So, on to the old business is item C1. Is there a motion to authorize the town manager to sign a successor agreement with the University of Rhode Island relative to the lease of flow space at the regional wastewater treatment facilities in the amount of $100,000 for a 1-year period after review by the town solicitor?
Motion to authorize.
Second. Discussion. So this actually was presented to us at a previous meeting, and the town council discussed and reviewed, and we felt that a revised agreement was warranted based on the relationship that we have with URI. At being a friendly neighbor, we thought that the cost should come down, and I'm happy to see that negotiations were successful, that this is an agreement that the cost has been brought down since the last time we saw it. Jim, would you mind just giving a quick soundbite of how much of a reduction was made since the last time we saw this?
51,492. It was the administrative fee that we charge for enterprise accounts is 10%. URI proposed 15. We proposed 10% on that, and a reduction of the total amount of the agreement, which hadn't gone up in years. So it's a 51,492 reduction, and we also agreed moving forward a clearer path for us to work hand in hand with them, monitoring I&I, the stormwater that goes into the system that affects the processes of the regional plan.
So thank you for saving the town $51,000. Appreciate it. And thank you to the partnerships and who were negotiating and to everyone involved.
Yes, URI and our town engineer met with us, and as you know, a couple council members also spoke to them. And that was the final outcome.
Excellent. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, John. Thank you for everyone who came to the table in partnership and collaboration. Does anyone else have any questions or comments?
I'd just like to follow up with, I'd like to just follow up with what Jim said. So I think after our last meeting, it was clear that we wanted to negotiate, or talk at least to the powers to be up there. And Jason Colonnese made an appointment with the president the next day, and I guess Jim made an appointment with the staff as well up there. And so after Jim had been there and negotiated what we're passing tonight, we felt that since we were meeting with the president, we'd keep our appointment. So we went up there, and the president wasn't there, but the same staff was there that Jim and the town engineer presented to, and it was obvious to us that we couldn't negotiate any further. So it was a pleasant conversation. It was very clear that they expect us to do something with our facilities, and they will help us in the future. And this is the first step in doing that. Jim, the paragraph that they supplied me with in the draft, that 4.0, it's like it's an amendment to the recently completed. Is that? I think I asked you about that the last meeting. We're putting that in our facilities plan, or is that how is that being taken care of?
Be more of a
No.
it most of it be memorandum of understanding or resolution when the time comes.
So that's number 4 on this draft proposal.
Yes.
Okay. So I think that's the best we could
don't disagree. I think it was a very productive meeting though, and I'm happy with me. The president couldn't be there, and I might not have told you that, but he told me that in an email. It's a lot of eye-opening discussions, I feel like, and we have a lot of work to do. So,
Thank you guys for having that conversation as well, and I'm happy to hear that the conversations and collaboration went well as well. That's too many wells. But really appreciate it, and any suggestions that you think we can make for the town in a mutual benefit in this partnership, please bring them to the table. So does anyone from the public have any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Is your mic?
Aye.
Oh, sorry. Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. On to new business. Is there town council items, is item D1. Is there a motion to schedule a work session regarding the completion of the bike path?
Motion to schedule.
Second.
Discussion.
All right, so, just about a week and a half ago, the ad hoc committee for the bike path met yet again, at which point a selected route was determined. We are going to be having another work session such that members of the public can come and voice their support or displeasure or thoughts or recommendations on the selected route. And this item is just to schedule that.
And just to be clear, just from my understanding, Councilor Torrielli, this is a opportunity, and by design for this work session, it would be something where the ad hoc committee would present their recommendation to the full council and to the public, and then we as the council would be able to have our back and forth dialogue, and then if time allows, the public will be able to chime in as well.
My intention was more for the public to voice their opinion, but if the council prefers that this be primarily focused on dialogue amongst us, receiving the feedback from the ad hoc committee, taking that into consideration, and us trying to coalesce and figure out a route, then if that's what you want to do, we can do that.
I think by design, I would like to request, if the suggested date is the 10th, I won't be in town on the 10th, and that's okay. But I think it's really important that the council has an opportunity to be able to ask each other questions. And, I appreciate all of the work that Councilors McNally and Torrielli have done with the ad hoc committee. And I know that there was a significant amount of reporting and individual studies that were done. I believe the planning board member, Rupert Friday, spent at least one Saturday collecting data from bike path users and asking all sorts of background information about how often do they use the bike path, what is their intended route, why it is that they're using the bike path. So he did share that information, and I know that was shared during your ad hoc committee, and I think it would be very enlightening to share that sort of information with the public, but allow the council to be able to have some dialogue. I don't know if you have any opinion on it.
I'm just not sure why we couldn't open up to the public, hear the public's opinion, and then take some time as a council to be able to discuss what we've heard and what the recommendation was. Is that possible?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I just was just curious to see if because I know in the past there was such a long list of people, and I expect that it'll be heavily attended as well. Just making sure that we take into consideration some time for the council themselves to be able to have some dialogue and ask questions of each other as well, based on that feedback. So I think it's a great idea, and I'm sorry to have taken the mic away from Councilor Torrielli. So what is your suggested date?
So my preferred date would be the 10th. I've spoken with Don Fredericks in the back, who is going to be doing our presentation for that particular workshop. He's available that date, but I don't know about
again, if it works for the majority, or at least 3 or 4 of you, I won't be in town. But I will be able to follow along and report back and ask questions.
December 10th works for me.
10th works? Okay. What about you?
Yeah, 10th works for me.
Okay, and Councilor Collins?
It's a work session, right?
Yes,
So it's a work session. Oh, it's a work session, not an ad hoc.
right.
Right.
That's why I wanted to make it clear.
Right.
So it'll be in this room, which will allow for the attendance, and they will report out what the recommendation was from the ad hoc committee, and then the public will be able to provide some additional feedback, and then the council can deliberate at the end. No vote will be taken at that meeting, just to be clear.
I do have a meeting scheduled that night, but I can talk to the person in charge and see if I can get it rescheduled.
Is it crazy to think of doing the bike path and the STR at the same night?
Yes. Yes. I just think there's a lot that needs to be discussed and vetted for both topics, so I prefer to have them on 2 different nights.
I'll do my best to get out of that meeting.
Okay, so it sounds like there's at least a quorum for the 10th. So we're good with that. What time would you recommend?
5:30?
That's a good time.
Okay, so there's a motion, schedule a work session regarding the completion of the bike path, scheduling for November 10th at 5:30 p.m. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Thank you. Just reading my notes here. All right, item D2, is there a motion to schedule a work session to discuss possible amendments to the short-term rental ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. So,
I just think it's really important that we resume our work on short-term rental. We were on a roll there for a while, and we had the roundtable discussion, and I just think that, I've been speaking to residents, and they're all wondering when this was gonna come up again, so I think it's a really, really good idea that we get working on this, and so I think scheduling something is very important.
I agree. I think there was a lot of really great dialogue that was had. We had those positive survey results, and we had recommendations from all sorts of residents in different sides of the aisle coming together in collaboration. And I remember reading some of those recommendations and being surprised by how much more we have in common than divides us. And even today, after everything that's going on, there still is more that unites us than divides us. So with that, I'm really hopeful to get us back in the groove and address the short-term rental ordinance. The suggested date that I have is the 12th, not to overwhelm all of you, but it is a very busy time of year with holidays, interviews, workshops. So I had suggested the 12th. I'm not sure if that works for any of you.
The 12th of
November.
November.
That was my first suggestion. Because the way that I see it is, this could be a lot of work that still needs to be done on that, and I'd like the opportunity to be able to have another one possibly before the end of the year, if need be. The other alternative would be December 3rd.
I think sooner the better. I'm good on the 12th.
Okay.
12th is a Friday night in December.
No, I'm talking about November 12th.
November.
No, sorry. The 2 suggested dates are either November 12th or December 3rd.
I'm available for the 12th of November.
I know it was my motion. Let me check if I'm available. I should be. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm on, is it a Thursday or what?
it's a Wednesday.
Yeah, mine's rough, but, well, we can make it earlier.
I
Yeah, it's gonna go long, but why is, in all due respect to the Lions Club, is it a requirement that you're present that evening at that particular meeting? I'm just asking.
No, not a requirement, but I committed.
You, okay?
But, you know, I mean, it's,
Get back out.
I think it's up to you. The other alternative would be December 3rd, and I just think that, you know, this is something that we could use sooner rather than later, but that's just my suggestion. I don't think I wouldn't be able to make it at 5 p.m., 5:30 p.m. would be my earliest I think we start.
So I would actually prefer December 3rd, but I'll do either one.
All right, would you guys be able to do December 3rd
I would.
without issue?
I also think that December 3rd might be a little better, just in terms of lead-up time.
Okay. All right, I won't rush it then. So December 3rd, is that all right with everyone down this side of the table? And we'll do that, and let me just double check again. December 3rd at 5:30 p.m., does that work, Sarah? Okay, so we will schedule this work session to discuss possible amendments to the short-term rental ordinance on December 3rd at 5:30 p.m. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. On to item D3 is a motion to discuss the possibility of building a recreation center in the town of Narragansett.
So moved. Second.
Discussion.
So I put this on the agenda. This is the beginning of a pretty lengthy conversation that we'll have for a while. The town has a lack of basketball courts, provide enough room for school sports, Narragansett youth basketball, adult recreation leagues. My children go to Jamestown to practice for youth sports in some basketball courts on that side of the world. So I think it's a good time to start the conversation about building a rec center in Narragansett. It's just simply the beginning one, possible what we want in the building, what we want in our rec center, thoughts on where it should be, locations, and it's a chance for us, the council to talk about it, the town to talk about it if they want, and the public to talk about it if they want. But I think I have talked to families across the board, and they, even when I was just running, wanted a recreation center built. I don't have the examples of it, but I was just at a West Florida facility that was beautiful, basketball courts, a track around it, kind of like South Kingstown has, and right next to it an ice rink. I mean, the possibilities are endless, and I think we should think big, like you or I, and work our way back.
so it's basically, it's indoor. You want protection for the,
Year-round indoor facility, sure.
because it seems like we have a lot of outdoor facilities, but we don't have a lot of indoor facilities. I remember actually, when I was younger, we actually went to the Guild to play basketball.
The one in West Warwick had 4 main basketball courts and a track around it. It was really an impressive facility. I would even say that we could take a field trip there, 2 at a time. It was very impressive. But I mean, like, as far as location is concerned, I'll shout out what my thoughts are. Some people have been saying if we ever get the chance to acquire Camp Cronin, that would be a good location for a rec center. I don't disagree with that. However, I do know that most of our families are located on the north end of Narragansett. And it would be an ideal location for us up around the northern end of Narragansett, in my very humble opinion. But again, I'm open to anything. I'm open to rec center is what I'm open to. So I know there's a desire, I know that when we were campaigning, there was a desire for an indoor pool. I mean, there's just so many options that we can talk about and try to get for the town. Again, I'm open to anything and willing to listen, and I really want this conversation to start so we can push the rec board to move in that location push town to move or look for some money, you know, all of that stuff.
You look like you're ready to say something.
I support it 100%. I think we definitely need something for our families and for our children. However, I think at this point, with the waste treatment plants and the infrastructure problems that we are currently experiencing, I think the combination conversation is great to start it, but I think realistically, we really need to make a priority right now and look at our waste treatment. I also think that, and you mentioned Camp Cronin, I think that if that does come to fruition and we are talking more, that could play a part in our thinking behind the rec center. So I think it's great to have a plan and have an idea of where we want to go with it. But right now, I just feel like priority-wise, I think we really need to look at what's happening with the waste treatment plant, personally.
And I would say that we wouldn't stop looking at the waste treatment plant, that we would push forward looking at that, and we would look at this as well. I think it's time to start thinking about our families and our town and build up this rec center.
I couldn't agree more with you. I couldn't. I think talking about it and discussing it, and like you said, putting on paper what we like and all the things that we're looking for in a rec center is a great idea and a great start.
So, Jason, what do you think as far as like,
Gotta really talk into that mic.
so Jason, how are you proposing to set up these discussions? Do you want to do them, you know, at the recreational level, or you want to do them at the town council level?
Well, no, I just want, we can start it here, and then we can push it to the recreational level, and then that would give a little push to the recreation board to start talking about it. Again, this is not something that I see happening overnight by any means whatsoever. But I just feel like families would be happy if we started talking about it in front of them.
What if you turn the old library building into a rec center?
I'm open to all ideas.
It's just an idea. I think, again, along the lines of what Councilor McNally has already shared as well, and I know you and I have had conversations as well, so I know you're 100% invested in the same values as far as dredging, building up our infrastructure, the wastewater treatment facility, it needs to be addressed. And then, you know, I think this is a tremendous idea, and I like this idea on paper. For me, I think the dredging needs to happen like yesterday. If I'm like looking at a list of priorities, as well as making sure that we are doing everything in our power to address the wastewater treatment facility and improving our infrastructures. Now, that being said, I don't think you brought this forth to say that we should do this over any of those other projects. I think, if I'm understanding correctly, you're just trying to gauge the interest of the overall council.
I'm trying to engage in a conversation to begin talking about a recreation center, because we haven't been talking about a recreation center.
Right.
Yes, and if you were to put that third on your list, that would make sense to me.
Okay. So those are just my thoughts, and
I'm on the rec board. I can bring it to the rec board and start the conversation there, certainly. But I want the public to know that we are definitely interested in talking about this.
I think it would be, in terms of location, I hear you on the north end, but I think the current place of the senior center might be the best location for it, just because it would be centrally located, it's close to the schools. If the kids want to go after school, play there in the winters. Additionally, the senior center needs updating. This is known, and I think this would kill two birds with one stone. And it's not just a sports facility, but it's also a recreation facility, meeting rooms, much like the South Kingston facility over by the dog park. So I think this is a worthwhile venture to support not only our youth, but seniors as well.
And again, that's a great just want to move forward talking about it. That's all.
Yeah, it seems to me that the center of town would be one of the best places for it to be second only to the north end of town. The ability for the kids to leave school and to walk to a recreational center, I think is, something that's really special. And we have 3 schools that are pretty close to each other. I know there was some thought, I thought if we end up having to consolidate our 3 schools together, there could be a thought of using one of the schools for a recreational center, but those would have to be talked about and studied and stuff like that. But we have the land and we have I think it's really important to have it in that area. So you're not busing kids around and all that stuff,
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. And again, this is not something that's going to happen overnight. It's a long conversation.
Yeah, no, nothing happens
No.
overnight.
But it's a good conversation.
So then my recommendation would be for you to take this back to the Recreational Advisory Committee and for consideration and further discussion, and it may be several meetings before you come back to us, so no expected turnaround time, but I think the general consensus is that the council is interested, and we've expressed different, levels of priority, but it's definitely enough to get the conversation going.
Perfect. I would do that. Gladly.
Excellent. Does anyone else on the council have anything else? All right. On to Parks and Rec. Is item E1. Is there a motion to award the bid for rubbish removal beach for the Parks and Recreation Department to the lowest bidder, Joe Harvey Landscaping LLC, at their quoted bid price of $65,000 annually for a 2-year period?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Discussion. Anyone on the council have any questions or comments? Anyone from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. On to item E2. Is there a motion to approve the contract with Fuss and O'Neill for architectural engineering services for the Kinney Bungalow HVAC project in the amount of $24,500?
Motion to approve. Second.
Discussion. Anyone on the council have any questions or comments?
No, other than Kitty Bungalow desperately needs HVAC.
Okay.
Agreed.
For a long time.
Right.
Anyone from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. On to item E3, is there a motion to authorize the town manager to sign a 3-year host agreement with Surfline Wavetrack Inc. Surfline for the installation of 3 cameras at Narragansett Town Beach, subject to review and approval by the town solicitor?
Motion to authorize. Second.
Discussion. So Jim, I just had a real quick question, when you and I were, and Sarah and Jim, when we were reviewing the agenda, the question came up about whether or not these cameras could record, and I believe it was determined at that time that would be a lot of space and a lot of storage, so can you just confirm if these record?
First of all, it is a free service. It surfaced from the discussions, I believe, through the Rec Advisory Board and the council about people being able to go online to see the parking situation. The server is not a town server. We'll have access to view it, but we won't be able to record or retrieve anything. The vendor would be able to do so, and if anyone wanted to see that, it would have to be through a search warrant or a subpoena. But we wouldn't be storing the video on our service. It's the vendor holds it.
So, just so that I'm understanding, would there be like a link or like a live feed posted on our town webpage that people can just click into and say, oh, look, that's...
It would be similar to the weather cams that you see in the Coast Guard house, and I think the Ocean Mist has one for the surf as well. But this particular one, although it has the capabilities to store recording, it's not something that's publicly available to us. We would have to have a legal reason to request it.
Okay. And do you know where these three will be located? So one will be, I assume, facing the ocean so that people can see current conditions, and the other two will be north and south up?
Instead of assuming the exact location, I believe it's the beach itself to see the conditions and the parking lots. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
I think this is great. I think it saves a lot of noise from, I remember working at the North and South Pavilion, and we used to get phone calls from patrons who wanted to come down from different parts of the state or, you know, even in town before they made the long trek down from the north end to the town beach, wanting to know if there was any spaces available. And now they can just go online at their own disposal and see how everything's going. So, I think that's great. Does anyone else on the council have any questions or comments?
No.
Anyone from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Oops, sorry, Bren. Motion passes 5-0. On to Public Works. Is there a motion to approve the purchase of Winter Road Solar Salt delivered from two vendors, Mid-American Salt LLC at $74.17 per ton and Eastern Salt Company Inc. at $78.07 per ton for the fiscal year 2025-2026 winter season per the State of Rhode Island Master Price Agreement number 125.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Anyone on the council have any questions or comments? Anyone from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. On to the engineering department. Is there a motion to approve the termination of waste transportation treatment and disposal agreement with Sinagro Northeast LLC and authorize the town manager to sign the agreement after review by the town solicitor?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Anyone from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. On to item G2, is there a motion to refer the request from John J. Koopa Jr. Esquire on behalf of Helen Quinn Argyris in regard to Plat A Lot 13, 0 Dunes Court for waiver of the sewer policy to the Sewer Policy Committee for review?
Motion. Second.
Moved by Councilor McNally, seconded by Councilor Colonies. Discussion. Anyone on the council have any questions or comments? Anyone from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. On to human resources. Item H1 is a motion to approve the increase of compensation for the town sergeant to $65 per meeting up to 3 hours and an additional $15 an hour or Rhode Island minimum wage, whichever is higher, for each hour over the initial 3 hours.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. I would just give a shout out to our town sergeant for doing a tremendous job and a tremendous service to the town. I know that this has certainly not been the easiest of councils to work with, so really appreciate the added attention and service that you provide us. Does anyone else on the council have any other questions or comments?
I'd like to give Thomas a good golf clap for this one.
Yeah. Anyone else on the council?
Just to note that the last time there was an increase was 2020, so I think it's well deserved.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. On to the town clerk is item I1. Is there a motion to appoint one individual to the pension board for a term set to expire on November 1st, 2026, and confirm appointments of 3 employees to the pension board for a 2-year term set to expire on November 1st, 2027?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Make a motion to appoint Stephen Bucci to the library board.
let me just make sure that I'm... So you're making a motion to appoint Steve Bucci to the pension board for a term set to expire on November 1st, wait a minute, that's...
November 3rd, 2026.
Wait, according to my handout, it says November 1st,
November 1st.
Is that correct? Okay. So we're appointing, so the motion is to appoint Steve Bucci to the pension board for a term set to expire on November 1st, 2026. Does anyone else have any, move that motion, or?
I'll support Steve Bucci in this.
Okay. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. On the appointment of Steve Bucci for a term set to expire on November 1st, 2026. And now we need to vote and confirm the appointments of 3 employees to the pension board for a 2-year term set to expire on November 1st, 2027. And I believe there's 3 individuals seeking reappointment.
Yeah, move Brent Kuzman, Ryan Saber, and Siobhan Sparta. Do it all at once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a second on that?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Thank you. And on to item I2. Is there a motion to reappoint one individual to the Juvenile Hearing Board for a 3-year term expiring on November 1st, 2028?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
I would like to table this, mainly because we don't have a second person, and I would like to shout out to the residents, asking them if there, if there's any retired teacher or currently teacher or guidance counselor or social worker or someone who's interested out there helping, wants to help kids. I think sometimes decisions that made at this level prior to things getting out of control can change the direction of a teenager. And I think this is really an important board that maybe, I guess I wasn't all that much aware of it until this came up on the agenda. So I just, hopefully it says, there's just when needed, and hopefully that'll be infrequently, that we won't really need to have the board meet that often. I'd just like to put it out there, have people go online, take a look at it, maybe if they're interested in working with the kids, that they could put their application in, and maybe we could do something at the next meeting.
I think that's a good idea.
So are we not considering the reappointment of David Cromley?
Oh, no.
Can we do it separately? Can we do that and then do the next one the next time? I didn't know if we had to do them both together.
We only have one eligible person right now. We don't have any other applications on file.
Right.
So at this time, if you chose to, it would be okay to reappoint Dr. Crowley. And then we would be able to have, again, if we get more applicants, because there will still be another vacancy.
Oh, that's fine. I didn't realize we could break them up. That's fine. I have no problem with that.
I
Yeah.
move to reappoint David Cronkley.
I'll second that motion.
I think we already have Councilor Toriello moved the motion initially and seconded Vignali. And then you both have agreed to the reappointment. Does anyone else have any other comments to the reappointment of that individual? Okay, all those.
I'm just gonna say, he was my pediatrician for many years. He is a very much a community man, and if you want somebody who's looking after the youth of this town, I can think of no one finer than
Excellent. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. On to item I3 is a motion to appoint reappoint 2 individuals to the Recreation Advisory Board for a 3-year term expiring on November 1st, 2028.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
So I am passionate about, obviously, shoulder sleeves and events and rec centers and things of that nature. I'd like to reappoint Philip LeBlanc for a term, and I've got a long conversation with Charles Auburn, who is on the Gallery Advisory Commission, but would prefer to be on the Recreation Board. He's passionate about field commissions and rec centers and has grandchildren in our school system, and I'm confident that he would do a great job. So I'd like to make a motion for him to join the board as well.
So, do you need a second for that, for Philip and Joe?
I would.
I'll second that.
Okay. So there's a motion on the floor. Any additional discussion from the council? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. On to item I4 is a motion to appoint/reappoint one individual to the Tax Assessment Board of Review for a 3-year term set to expire on November 1st, 2028. Don't all jump at once.
I'm trying to turn my page here.
Anyone can move it.
I'll move it.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Discussion for this very, very important and exciting board, Tax Assessment Board. It wasn't meant to sound sarcastic, it is.
I missed the excitement part.
But Councilor Durkin, do you have any comment on this?
I'd like to, motion, to appoint Barry McPeak. I know Barry, just, he's a good guy. I think he might have been on that board once before, familiar with real estate. And, think he'd be good.
I'll second that.
All right, it's the first and second to appoint Barry McPeak. Anyone else have any comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. On to item I5 is a motion to schedule a work session to conduct interviews for the zoning board on December 1st, 2025 at 5:30 p.m.
So moved. Second.
Discussion, I think this is just a scheduling item stating that we're holding interviews for the zoning board on that date. And I think that's a normal, regularly scheduled meeting date. Yep. So we'll have that on that date. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. And I have it in my notes here that item I6 was withdrawn by the applicant prior to this meeting, so no vote will be taken on item I6. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. And now, just making sure I'm doing this correctly. So during executive session, we voted to continue until after the regular meeting. Do I adjourn the regular meeting, or do we just make a motion to go into executive session?
If we're not going to report any votes, then we would adjourn the regular meeting now.
We may, so I'd rather leave it open.
Leave it open.
Okay. So is there a motion to return to executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote. Alex Menzies, aye.
James Durkin, aye.
Donna McNally, aye.
Ryan Tori, all day, aye.
Jason Collins, aye.
Thank you. Are we back online?
We are
All right,
online.
thank you. So the town council just returned from executive session, and I will report out the votes. A motion passed 5-0 to direct the chair of the Land Conservancy Trust to discuss the contingencies set forth by the town council on the purchasing of land. That was discussed during an executive session. And then there was a vote that passed 5-0 to seal the minutes from executive session, and an additional 5-0 vote to return to open session. Is there a motion to adjourn at, 8:39 p.m.?
So,
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Have a great night. Thank you.